Hey, I'm Victor Lucas. This is Johnny Millennium, and you are watching Film Fury. And Johnny and I are going to catch them all because we just got out of Detective Pikachu, starring Ryan Reynolds and a guy named Justice Smith. As Tim.
Can you believe we just saw this movie?
I can't believe it exists.
I can't believe we were sitting in the theater in disbelief of what we were watching.
Yes.
I gotta say, the early trailers were pretty good. We like Ryan Reynolds. He's a citizen of this city, Vancouver, right here.
Woo! Woo! Vancouver, woo! Everybody loves
Ryan Reynolds,
Vancouver.
right here.
Woo!
See, he's got a fan base right here.
Yes.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
So we had a little bit of high hopes for this.
Absolutely.
What was it like for you having some high hopes going into this?
Well, you know, at first I thought that this was going to be kind of like a combo between a Blade Runner movie visually, and the Zootopia, the Zootopia movie, that Disney movie,
right?
Where all the animals were all kind of playing together, and it's a beautiful film, actually.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, I'm along for the ride. It's going to be a mystery. This kid's trying to find out what's happened to his father, and we're gonna
with the aid of Pikachu, a favorite Nintendo character, from Pokémon.
The beginning is incredibly charming and cool and mysterious, and we're seeing all of these cameos with different Pokémon that are just walking around the streets, and they're weird looking, and they're sort of manufactured for the movie, but they look damn cool.
It's really interesting because, you're right. We're thrown into a Pokemon city.
Yeah.
And seeing Pokemon walking around with humans, and it's like totally normal, and everybody's like okay about it, and we become okay about it.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was in love with the movie. I was
too.
like, I'm going to really enjoy this. I'm like, they've done it well. They know what they're doing. This is perfect. And then the movie keeps going, and we go down, we're not going to give any spoilers, goes down a few avenues that I was scratching my head at.
Yeah.
I looked at Vic. Vic was almost asleep at one point.
Yep.
And I was knocking him because I was almost asleep.
Well, it's like they turned it into a radio drama in the middle with explosions and stuff. But like everybody's just standing around talking and talking.
Talking, as you said,
looking at holograms, and like it's just exposition and exposition.
Yeah,
and
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
And everybody's sad and crying and like. But it's devoid of emotion, and it's devoid of that magic and that mystery that's the beginning of the movie. Yeah. And it just sort of, it just stalls. The pacing is just terrible in the middle. It picks up a bit at the end, but then it gets wacky at the end.
And we'll get to that too.
Yeah.
The emotion is held together with Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
With his comedic performance,
as
which
Pikachu.
is wonderful.
It is, yeah.
Every line he said is funny. But he can't keep this movie together on his own.
He can't hold the whole damn thing.
No, and it certainly can't. It doesn't hold together.
And I'll say that Justice Smith is pretty good as well. And
he's all right.
And some of the other human actors are pretty decent. But it's a script that bogs all of its performers, whether they're Pokemon or human, down with this kind of
ridiculous plot.
Yeah, well, it's a ridiculous plot, but it's like the solving of the mystery turns from this kinetic kind of like really diving in and looking into every nook and cranny, which we embody as well as audience members, because we're all looking all like, wow, look at that, look at that, look at that. And then it just sort of, it gets
falls
really
apart.
Yeah, it just gets really sort of stuck, and it's like in quicksand, and we're in the same sort of area for a while, and everybody's yakking and trying to piece it all together, and I was like, oh my God, I am totally falling asleep.
And at that point, we go into the end of the movie, the long haul to the end.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was like, is this a different movie? Like, what is this? It's just so ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous.
It's so, honestly, like it was reminding me a little bit of Batman, 1989.
Yeah.
At the end, some aspects of it.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is silly, dumb. Batman's great, but this was like,
it fully embraces all of the potential fantasy that you might encounter in an animated show. So... And up until that point, I think it's sort of tried to adhere to some principles of realism, and even though we're dealing with a lot of
Pokemon in a real world.
Yeah, and there's some fantastical moments like giant Pokemon that you are surprised to see all of a sudden.
Special effects at times.
At times
are terrible.
At times, it looks a little sort of painted into the scene, but at the end, it's just like, okay, whatever. We're just gonna blend all of this weirdness, and the audience is gonna be.
It's kind of like you're going this direction, and you're like, okay, fine, it's not the best plot, whatever. And then it goes boom, and you're like, what? And you're shocked. I remember I looked over, and Chris is laughing, and I'm laughing, and we're laughing the same thing of how ridiculously over the top, and they've taken the movie to a different level, and I still can't wrap my head around it.
No.
And it was that ending really brought it down for
yeah.
me. Oh my God.
It was uncomfortably cheesy.
And listen, let me be the first to say we're two older guys.
Yes.
Absolutely, but we love the Pokemon franchise.
Absolutely. Played all the games. And honestly, I was feeling, because we know that this tidal wave and Sonic the Hedgehog is coming. We know that this tidal wave of video game movies is coming again, and people have grown up with a lot of these characters and these properties, and someone's going to nail this. And at first I thought, oh my God, this is going to be the first live-action video game movie that is going to cross over, and maybe it will. Maybe younger demo will show up and they'll love it, but it didn't hold together for me.
Not me at all.
I was pulled out of it by some really weird,
so many things,
creaky choices that slowed it down, and just some oddball choices at the end that are just felt like it was a disservice to all of the fine work that had gone before it.
Yes, yeah. We're two older guys, but we wanted to enjoy
That's
this.
the last we say of that.
Yeah, but it's true, because I was sitting there going, are all these little kids just loving this? And
listen, I'm a parent. I'm a dad, man. I would take my kid to something like this, but I would still expect to like it. And I didn't like Zootopia is a terrific Disney movie. It's a cop movie. It's a buddy cop movie with animals, and it's amazing. It's so well made, and that should have been sort of like a guiding star for filmmakers that are making a Pokemon movie, is to look at stuff like that and go, okay, we got to be at that high bar. Instead, we're in the quicksand of exposition in the middle of this thing going, oh my God, I don't think I could survive that.
Let me say, we get no pleasure out of this. Yeah. This is a missed opportunity.
Yes.
We say this with a lot of films. This is a missed opportunity. I want to see Pokemon in the real world with a really good adventure plot.
There is a lot of charm.
There is some charming
There is a lot of charm in
this.
There's
not a lot for me. There's a little bit sprinkled here and there.
It's mostly visual. That's the charm.
So let's talk about that. Some of the special effects are mind blowing.
Yes.
And we said it earlier on. Some of them you're like, oh my God, is this really? Is this in the movie? Like do you remember the bit when the guy's walking and he's being led by the creatures?
Yeah.
You're just like, is this real? It's like. Why did they let this go in so easily?
There's so much compositing work that's happening in all of our movies these days, and it's really hard to kind of see how a shot was even composed, let alone affected, and it is. I feel for the actors too, right? Because what are they playing against, and you can sometimes see some of the actors looking slightly off of where they should be because everybody's walking around with their Pokemon.
Like he's like in a like Pikachu kind of, this kind of thing. But I don't hold that against the movie. That's not my main problem.
I didn't hate this movie, but
I didn't love it.
I didn't love it, and it certainly let me down. But there's charming stuff, and I think. The Pokemaniacs out there, is that a term?
I
think they might even have more hooks and more things that they'll love about this movie.
Think, if you like Pokemon and you want to see them in the real world, go and see this. But I think
if you like the Pokemon show, not just the games. If you like the Pokemon show, this is more your speed. But I'm more into the game stuff.
I wanted more of the show and more of the games in this, and we didn't get that.
Yeah.
We got a city of Pokemon, which was cool. Yeah. They're running around, but I wanted to see more Pokemon capturing. There's a little bit of that, but not enough. There's a bit of battling as well, which is good, but not enough. I guess... we can say, yes, it's a Detective Pikachu and not a Pokemon thing, but at the same time, they did their own movie here, and it's weird.
It is weird, and I feel like if it's going to be a hit, and who knows, there might be a lot of people that love this thing.
Probably.
Then we're probably going to get lots of Pokemon movies, and
there's
a lot to mine in this world.
And I want a lot more Pokemon movies, but I just don't want more of this.
Yeah.
Like that ending.
That was good. We saw it and it's over. That's enough of this.
Yes, we said that's the movie we saw and that's over with. And we went to the theater. We both thought the same thing, and he could read me, I could read him. Yeah. We both. What
are we talking? 6s?
I'm thinking so. I'm going to be. Do you know what? I'll give a 6.5 for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I love the guy. I think he's fantastic. He lives in Vancouver here. So
I know. I love Ryan Reynolds too, but this is only getting a 6 from me.
Ooh,
because it
lower than
almost
me.
put me to sleep.